Klein CL390 comes with the tool, a red and black positive negative probe, a bag, and a temperature gauge. This Klein tool, CL390, has these little sleeves that fit on here, so if you're touching something small, it prevents you from touching on the side and having arcing. I don't think I'm going to have that use case ever in that type of electrical work, but this allows me to test this circuit. So I have it just on volts, and it should auto detect. I put it in here. 120 volts. And 20 volts right there. It's really nice. So I didn't have to set it up or anything in terms of the range. It finds the range itself. You can change the range. It's on auto. You push this range button. You can go to whole volts, decimal volts, hundredths volts, thousandths volts, millivolts, and so forth. Yeah, but if you hold range again, it's back in auto, so it'll sense it itself. It's a nice feature. Okay, let me test a set of DC batteries. I'm turning on volts on, let it scale, find its own range, and it says AC here. And I'm going to hit select, changes it to DC. So let's test this battery. It should be about 12 volts. I get these for my alarm system. A new one every year, and sometimes I can reuse the old ones, but this one measures 12.95 volt. Battery's still good. Okay, let's measure this battery here. Should be 1.5 volts. 1.54 volts. Still a good battery. Let's try that again. 1.54 volts. Here's a rechargeable battery, 9 volt. These things seem to wear out fast, but let's see what this one has. Been sitting for about a month. 8.36 volts. Still good to go. Let's measure this newer 9 volt battery. It's a rechargeable also. 9.28, a little bit stronger than the last one. You can hold this button on the side, change the LED brightness. Lower, kind of hard to tell. That's brighter. There's a relative reading mode also, so I have a current reading going on of 9.27 of a battery I showed you earlier. I put relative to this one. Now when I measure, notice it's now giving me a 0 reading. It's negative 9.27 less. Of course, I don't have anything on here. So when I put this battery, which is a little weaker, you'll see exactly what it should be. It's 0.9. This one was 8.3 and this one was 9.2. So it shows you the difference between two battery readings relative to the previous reading. Mode. So when you turn this on, you see this little icon. That means it's going to automatically turn off after a couple minutes. I think it's 5 minutes if you don't use it, maybe shorter. So if you turn it off and hold this select button, turn it on, that little icon goes away. That's the auto range, the little on-off button. So this will stay on until you shut it off again. And then if you shut it off again, auto automatically comes back on. See that little icon right there. This unit, CL390, is very, I'm not saying heavy or light, it's a very good solid feel to it. You can change the batteries here. It's 3 AAA batteries that are included. And there's some attachments you can get, some magnetic holder and all that stuff. I don't need it for my purposes. But I will be using voltage checker, occasionally amp checker when I'm out with a buddy of mine checking the air conditioning unit outside. This mode right here checks for continuity, and you can do that and switch that to check for resistance, check for capacitance, and diode testing. And the instructions are in here. And then there's a frequency duty cycle, which is beyond my usage grade. This one and this one I don't know too much about for home use, and I'm afraid I'll electrocute myself if I'm trying to do something with that. Another convenient function is if you put it up here to temperature and put this specific connector in here, there's a little temperature gauge on the end. So let me touch this little ice cube. See, it's 34, 33, 32, 31 degrees. There's a bottle of barbecue sauce to give you some different temperatures that came out of the refrigerator. Trying to check if the battery's hot. 70, 72, not hot at all, room temperature. So, got a built-in thermometer gauge too. Made this little gadget, took the sheathing off of these wires so I can clamp onto just one individual wire. The green one's the ground. I'm going to test the amps coming out of this hot air gun. So, got it off, and turn it on to 40 amps. Clamp onto the black one. Pretty perpendicular. Not so much when I turn this gun on. 7.4 amps, 38. Yeah, let's see if I go up higher. 2 speeds. So that's low. 6.23. That's off. And this is higher. Awesome. We finally have something to check the amps with. Now, I have my laptop plugged into it. You can see it's not drawing too many amps, very little. It's not really doing anything. Nice device. So I'm very happy with this tool. It's replacing 2, 3, 4 tools. It's replacing my voltmeter, AC, DC, auto range it. Now I have a way to check amps by putting the clamp over some wires. Allows me to do 4 levels of additional testing like continuity, and not those 2, but it also does temperature. So 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of readings that I will use regularly in one tool. Again, you can also adjust the LCD brightness. And another tool is when you're up here, turn it on, it'll just detect any presence of current right there on the tip. Really cool. Good tool, Klein Tools.